Welcome everybody to another episode of the Pierce Brothers. I'm Joe, and today we're taking a look at the new Smith & Wesson Shield X. This is the brand new, newest version of the Shield from Smith & Wesson, and in my opinion, this is what the Shield should have been all along. I feel like the Shield is very underrated. Of course, the Shield started with just a single stack, 7-round capacity little handgun, and they evolved into the Shield Plus, which had a 1.5 stack magazine, which increased capacity. And now this Shield X, well, you'll notice it looks very similar to the new 2.0 bodyguards in the grip shape and the texturing, the slide serrations, all of those things we'll discuss here briefly. Before we get going too far, make sure and like, share, subscribe, check out our Patreon, and if you'd like to join our channel, you can do that as well. But you'll notice I have the Vortex Defender on there. That's my go-to EDC optic. Now, you'll notice on the back end here of the grip, they took away a lot of material here. So you get a really nice high purchase grip on that, which is really great. That grip is really, really comfortable. I've been a P365 fan since they came out, and I love this grip on the Shield X. It's something that is just super comfortable. Have not fired this yet, by the way. So you're gonna see our very first shots here. Now you'll notice the slide serrations up here. They are on the side and up on the top of the slide just a little bit. It makes press checks and manipulating that slide very easy from the front. I'm all about functionality, and the SIG, or the Smith & Wesson, they came out with their carry comp here like a year ago, roughly. And those slide serrations looked cool, but they were not very functional. These are very functional slide serrations. They're nice and aggressive. You get a really good, easy grip on there if you're trying to run the slide, especially if you have an optic mounted. Using the front serrations is kind of the more natural thing to do. Now, of course, in a pinch, you could use your optic, but the gun is not ambidextrous. You'll notice the left side, there are no controls. The other side, we have the slide release, takedown lever, and the safety. But yeah, this is, you'll notice blacked out rear sights as well, with a tritium front night sight. So, enough talking, let's shoot it. I really want to shoot it. I've got some Spear 124 grain hollow points we'll test first. That is my typical carry ammo, so that's what we're going to sight it in here for. Let's see how it shoots. Looks like we're just hitting a little bit low.
Yeah, just a couple inches, huh?
You want to pause it? I need to get my screwdriver.
Beautiful morning in Idaho.
All right, we adjusted up just a hair, so let's see where we're at now. Still need to go up just a touch. I usually sight in all of my handguns for EDC just offhand, because that's how I'm going to be shooting them. I don't want to bench rest it. Let's go check and see how we did. So not terrible, pretty decent little group.
Those lower ones were the side infiles.
Yeah, these first couple, and then we kind of went up. Anyways, looks like I'm still hitting a little bit left, so we might go right to click. All right, so the gun itself ships with 2 magazines, a flush fit magazine and then an extended magazine. They have 3 different variants available right away. There will be the manual thumb safety version, which just adds the thumb safety if you want that. I grabbed one just because it was the most available right now. The non-thumb safety one hasn't hit yet. And then they have a compliant version if you live in a state that doesn't allow certain things. a less free state. So let's go ahead and put another magazine through it here. That thing is very controllable. With that grip on there, recoil is very manageable. First thoughts are very, very good. So let's put some more mags through it. All right, while we're back here reloading, I guess I should mention here before we go on too much further, we're gonna do a trigger pull test, but the magazines on this, they're the same magazine body as the Shield Plus, but the base plates are different, and they're off enough that your Shield Plus mags will not work in this gun. The grip is longer. Even if you swap base plates and that around, they still will not work. They're just off by a little bit. So the Shield X magazines will not, or not compatible with the Shield Plus and vice versa. So I guess you could use the Shield X and a Shield Plus, but you'll have a gap from your grip to your magazine base plate. So we're clear. We're gonna test trigger pull here. We got our Wheeler trigger pull device. The trigger on this is it's nice and crisp. So that one was at just 5.5 pounds. So let's run it again. That's pretty good for a little striker gun. I mean, that's not too shabby. Almost 6 pounds on that one. So we'll say between 5.5 and 6. Now for kicks and giggles, let's test that against a P365. This is my fuse. Like I said, I've been a P365 guy forever. I've owned Shields. In fact, a Shield 45 was my first ever. So that was 6.5 pounds on the P365. The P365 trigger is a little more spongy for sure. The Shield has a nice, or the Shield X has a nice crisp break to it. 7 pounds there. So a little bit lighter than the Shield, or the P365. Here's a Hellcat. Let's compare it to that. I don't know if the Hellcat will even read on this still. Hellcat's got a pretty heavy trigger pull. 7.5 pounds. So the lightest by far. And the trigger, though, you'll see has a little bit of take up. This is their new design 2.0 or whatever trigger. So it's got the built-in trigger safety. So a little bit of take up, you hit your wall, nice crisp break. And then the reset, a nice audible reset. So pretty good trigger. Overall, I really like the trigger in there. And let's show you what an original Shield looks like here. So you'll notice slide serrations much improved on the new X. And a lot of even the Shield Pluses have very similar slide serrations to these original Shields. This is the Shield 45, which was my first ever semi-auto handgun that I bought with my own money. Growing up, we shot a lot of single actions, 6 guns and 1911s and such. But yeah, you can tell that grip angle, or the grip shape, is quite a bit different. They updated that a lot, rounded it out. It makes it very, very comfortable to hold and shoot. The feature I forgot to mention is they added a Picatinny rail on the front, so there's no longer a need for a specialized light. Anything that's Picatinny compatible should fit as long as you have the short enough light. For example, my TLR-7A did not fit even with the shortest pick rail. It was barely too long to still fit in that front rail, but there are a lot of Picatinny light options out there that will work. Let's see if we can hit the little bowling pin over here. All right, first try, not too shabby. Yeah, like I said, very controllable. That grip is really comfortable. Very shootable gun. And like I mentioned, they lengthen that grip just a bit, so I do get a full grip with my pinky and everything without having my grip go on the magazine, which I love because I hate having part of my grip being on a magazine. Yeah, really loving this thing so far. In my opinion, this is the shield that I've been waiting for my whole life. Perfect slide serrations. You've got the optic footprint is RMSC like most people do in their subcompact handguns. Grip texturing is that 2.0 texturing they came out with. The grip angle is perfect and the grip shape. It just fits in your hand perfectly. And with that cutout up here, you get a really good high purchase on the gun. You have an undercut under the trigger guard. And just very, very smooth. And like I said, the trigger pull is amazing. I can't say enough nice things about this gun. Absolutely love it so far. All right, now this is just our first shots video, so stay tuned for a full 1,000 round review. I've covered all the features. I didn't mention that this is a Smith & Wesson made, obviously. M&Ps have been ultra reliable for me and my brothers, all of us. We've shot and used M&Ps since they came out forever ago. And we've only had a few ever malfunctions in the carry comp model from last year that we got when it got really dirty. It started gumming up just enough where the slide and the barrel lock up that it wouldn't lock all the way, and you'd fire and
battery discharge.
Yeah, it wouldn't discharge.
Not an out of battery discharge, just an out of battery malfunction.
Out of battery malfunction. Yeah,
yes.
Exactly. So anyways, but M&Ps, we've got thousands of rounds through multiple different M&P guns, and I mean, just ultra reliable. They're great in dirt, mud, sand, harsh conditions. And this is the ultimate concealed carry gun, assuming it works out well. Again, just first shots here today, but I absolutely love that grip angle and the grip texture, the grip shape, the trigger pull, the slide serrations. All of it is just really the perfect concealed carry gun to me. Along with Smith & Wesson, I mentioned you get a lifetime warranty from Smith & Wesson. They stand behind their products forever, and they're USA based, so you just ship it right back to them. Easy fix, easy whatever, but you probably won't have to send very many M&Ps back to Smith & Wesson because they're just ultra reliable. I didn't mention there's a little bit of texturing right here for your thumb. So when you get your grip, you do have a bit of a spot for your thumb. Anyways, it's a small enough spot though that doesn't matter a whole lot. Yeah, I'm really loving this thing. So stay tuned for a full 1,000 round review here in a couple weeks, I'd say. We're gonna shoot it a lot and put it through some paces. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more awesome episodes from the Pierce Brothers, and we'll see you next time.